Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Snake Pass. So, in the last recording, we had a bug that locked up the game and made it impossible to beat the level. So I've had to play level 12 Roasted Ruin a second time. And I already tested it with one of the gate keys, so it should work unless there's just straight up a bug when you get the second key that messes up. The animation of the first key was a little bit different because the camera was way over there when it did the first animation, and then it zoomed to the gate. All those that bask in the heat are forever your friends, except as token of their eternal thanks. So we're getting these tokens. I have no idea what they're for. They seem not to really do anything unless there was, like, I mean, what could it really be? Well, if we were to jump over here, hit this, and we already could walk on this. Are we now just like immune to dying on lava? No. So the tokens don't mean that. And the only other thing I could think is that they might have some interaction with one of the statues, but the closest statue is way over there, and I'm not willing to mess with that. Like, there at most is one statue, I think, in each level of the natives characters, and I don't know what that would really give you. Let's just move on. And here we have a creature that was turning around in such a way that it looked like it had one eye on either side of its head. And we unlock time trial mode, and we can move forward. So we're not rage quitting, but certainly it's not fun and not a happy situation to potentially have to play one of 15 levels of the entire game a second time just because the game glitched. Like, the only reason why we haven't rage quit this game since about the 5th level is because it has been relatively lucky, but we have 3 more levels in this breezy area where it seems kind of obvious. I bet I could carry you across here. So yeah, it seems fairly obvious that they had gameplay mechanics here and a much bigger game concept at some point. Honestly, this feels a lot like the problems you see with a lot of Kickstarter games, where the concept sounds cool if it had the funding, if it had the polish to be a full game, but in reality it's not really the case. Alright, we may just rage quit here. Like, the only thing I can think to do is maybe, oh, you have to hit Y when standing on a platform. So it has nothing to do with the system that's already been established. He grabs you instead in the middle, which totally changes and kind of devalues the previous setup. I hear the jingle of of a collectible. Is it up here, or am I just... There you go. Let's see if I can get my tail to potentially hit the coin without falling. Alright, this is totally not gonna work for me. Though. Yeah, I'm still getting into overly ambitious attempts here when there's no need for that. This tall grass seems like it's slowing me down also. So, where is the third pillar of light? I see a red, I see a green, I don't see anything else. Let's see, I'm hearing a wind chime like sound, but it's probably not those wind chimes. Yeah, this is probably... I'm just gonna have to assume that that's not what we need to go to. Let's see, it's safer, as silly as it might seem, it's safer to do something like this than it is to just try and move the normal way. And here we're back to the spikes. I seriously doubt that there's ever going to be a thing that would make sense as far as making you spike proof. That and then I apparently just hit the spikes through the wall there. Oh, this definitely seems like this is going to be a nightmare. So let's wrap up ourselves into some safety. And a lot of times it really is just bumping is all you need. A small bump to your thing. And interesting, that just opened completely. So does that just move by itself? Apparently it does. So it does look like the yellow was a choice. It does look like you probably need to climb up that direction also. So I'm just gonna grip this. Just kind of sliding here. The Y does kind of save you. I'm going the wrong direction. Nope, 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 nope. did not want to go that way. So that twist dial that I did really had nothing to do with collecting the... Whoa, that wind is strong. Be careful not to get blown away. So we're probably going to have one, maybe two levels that introduce the idea of really strong wind. And that's going to be about it. Meanwhile, I think you're fairly safe to just go with a grip ability. Alright. Maybe not. Maybe you do kind of have to push your way around this so that you're in a safer position. I circled, I think, the wrong direction. So yeah, I am having to use the grip way more than I've had to use it in any of the previous sections. Let's come over here. And wrap up over here. And let's go up here. And then I think I can just kind of work my way right over to that. I honestly feel like this whole section then solves, like, I can just move my way towards the final location fairly easily. Maybe I can't. Maybe I am gonna have to work my way back around to the final one, but we're not running into anything super challenging here. Yeah, it totally feels dumbed down. It feels like some of these concepts would have been used in much later points in a much longer game. A lot of this stuff would almost certainly have been done in such a way that you weren't messing with so much, if that makes any sense. Like, let's see. I was not trying to collect that. I was trying to wrap myself up and get a better grip. It's kind of like the pivot in the back is the only safe thing to grab onto. So what I think the trick here is to probably do something like this and work your way around them. And this is just like a great experience of showing how you just have to get around a pole. You don't have to legitimately be connected to a pole or wrapped around a pole. Where is that platform? Like, I feel like I'm climbing up there for no reason. Yeah, the platform is up there. And we already did this once, and it didn't give us any convenient little elevator. Alright. So I think you have to kind of be in more of a central location, I guess. But also over there is a coin, so how many times did they really want you to climb up that one windmill? At least 3 times, minimum, to collect everything. And remember, unless something changes here, there's no like auto-saving when you do collect things. So you are inherently going to have to collect everything if you were going to try and do a 100% collection. Alright. This is not going to work amazingly well. Like, it's because I need... I need a checkpoint. It's pretty unfair to not have one here. Alright. I'm gonna try this. And then I'm gonna grab this. And then he kind of let me drop as he collected that. Which that sucks. And then I'm just kind of hoping that you can't just fall through that and die. And the animations look like they're going to work. But these levels are getting longer. Slightly longer. Not amazingly longer. Wow, that is a surprisingly large amount of the wisps that we collected. Feels like in an early level they should have pretty much forced you to collect all the wisps so you could learn that collecting all the wisps would increase some ability, some grip strength or something. If there was a reason to grind through all of this, I would be very happy to know if that existed. But it doesn't seem like that is the case at all. So they're doing the jump in the water gag just to kind of remind you that they have water technology while not really doing anything with the water technology. Now, which one do we want to go to? Let's just go this way and see how this works. It would be surprising if there were these platforms in previous levels and we just didn't know that we could use them. Let's see. Interesting, the wind is making it rather difficult to even just get up to this part. I pretty much called this. Oh, this is going to be a nightmare. As far as if this works on the first try, I will be so freaking surprised. I cannot believe that worked. Man, sometimes things are just too easy. Like, that was way too easy because they spent effort and energy to make that look like a challenge, and it should have been a challenge. So then when it's not a challenge, then what was the point of creating all of that? I mean, I guess there's still some stuff that could go wrong. Quite a bit that could still go wrong here. I guess maybe you were supposed to not flip the switch and get some collectibles that way. Yeah, I guess there was some wisps down here. And maybe I could flip the switch if I wanted to and flip it back down that direction. The whole trick here, though, is really just all about holding A and finding a direction, finding a way up. So if you make it up, you're fine. Just holding A and jumping. So now all I've got to do is hold A and mostly jump. Of course, then that brings back the whole point of why does it not checkpoint me when I collect one of the gate keys? It checkpoints me when I flip a switch, but it doesn't checkpoint when I collect a gate key. Just, I think, to be cruel more than anything. And so I have to do this multiple times. So we're opening the door again to being on tilt, just frustrated and upset with the game. It is a quick 180 turn, really. Either the game is giving me an enjoyable experience, or it's driving me insane with its awkward controls. A lot of what Nintendo figured out in Mario 64 compared to even like Super Mario World and Mario Bros. 3 and 1 and 2 is in Mario 64 you bonk. You bounce on the door, you bounce on the wall. You don't die per se. And there's a big benefit to not having the mistakes, the small mistakes that you make, turn into huge mistakes that kill you and force you. I almost wonder if I could just jump that direction. If anything, I should probably try to jump in this general direction. Let's see, if I can get on top of this, then I have enough height to reach this. Why would I want to go over there? There's a key over, a coin over there. This is by far the worst coin I've seen, and most of the coins have been awful. So yeah, I don't think I'd ever even begin to think about doing all the coins and collectibles in this game. But yeah, as I was saying, if I was just falling on the ground and then bonking, and then I was right near where I needed to be to try a second time, if there was a much better checkpoint system where... Yeah, I'm about to fall to my death. If there was a much better checkpointing system, so these are supposed to block the wind, and they seem like they're fairly slow enough. And there's a statue in there. Well, trying to talk to the statue has led to my demise. But I did touch it, and I did get that weird sound effect that we've been getting. but I don't think it really does anything. If it does do anything, it probably does something right after you've finished a level. So apparently you're supposed to jump off the end, because I can't imagine anything else I'm supposed to do unless I'm supposed to be on top. If I got on top of these platforms as they move up, that might help a little. Right. Yeah, they just wanted you to power through that and over. That was not obvious. Okay. Let's try this again. Gripping and climbing and wrapping and then just far jumping, gripping, climbing, wrapping, far jumping. There's another golden coin inside the area. This is a relatively safe elevator in bamboo form, because as long as I can somewhat wrap around it, I can be carried to safety. The problem is getting on it and then getting high enough, and that angle was just so off. I'm off into the air. And so it sets you back again. Yep. See how that's not a bonk? And I don't mean that every game needs to have you bouncing your head off a wall and making a bonk sound. I mean the general concept of a very small failure and a very quick reset. Let's see, is there possibly a way I can get up? This camera is just all over the place. Over here, that coin would have been easy to get as long as you've found it. But most of the coins and collectibles not easy to collect. They're not just simple, you find them and then you'll succeed. They're much more complicated platforming things. Alright. So I'm slowly trying to wrap myself around this. That way we can get the right look and jump and wrap around here. Come on. Jump this way. And get to another checkpoint. And we're gonna go late today. And so this is just gonna be a matter of timing. I've got to not go too early, because then it will roll me off. You need to go right about now, and then at that point it rolls you forward, and then that lets you get to where you need to go. So is that like a weighted pressure plate? I don't see any weighted pressure plate there. I don't see a reason why that would have been the thing that would have opened the next area. considering we've only gotten 2 out of the 3 things. We still have a 3rd one we have to collect. The music in this game is fine, but certainly maybe a little annoying, I would say, after a while. Like, because once you start running into that problem of dying over and over again, you probably are going to hear the music a lot more than you would like. Gotta be real careful here. Aw, not enough time. And there's a coin at the bottom of that. The chances of you ever being able to get that is insanely low. Since the B button does nothing in this game, I really have to question the intelligence of not having an ability to coil yourself up and spring. There's a game called Mr. Glover that came out for the Nintendo 64, I believe, and maybe the PlayStation 1 originally too. I think it was the 64 originally exclusive, but then the PlayStation 1 later. In that you play a ball, just a ball, a crystal ball that has the ability to turn into a rubber ball, a spike ball, I think, an ice ball, a heavy ball. Like, there's several just magical reasons why you can turn into other things, and they give you new abilities. It wouldn't be crazy to have a little bit of magic here in the world of video games in particular. It would not be insane to give Noodle some ability to spring up his tail and shoot really far or really tall or really high with the B button, to just have a burst of speed. We already see him kind of unnaturally fling himself in the air anyways. This doesn't make a lot of sense. It feels like you have to do something like this. And that's silly, to say the least, that you have to potentially fling yourself up. Alright. Now I'm going to go ahead and grip and wrap and hope that that's enough to get me over here. And here we have just an upwind, which seems to be about the only time in this game that the wind is going to be helpful. And even in that action, it very possibly would be unhelpful. I guess if you were going to get the coin, you'd have to go all the way around the back there. Let's see. Continue to touch bamboo sticks as if they are just little checkpoints. Right. Now, is there a checkpoint somewhere? Like maybe on top? This seems crazy. No, the closest checkpoint is down there. So, it's really just going to be fling yourself across one way, and then fling yourself across the other way, with the camera not really in a good position for where they decided to put the things. So, they made that long enough where you would have had to transition at least once between the spins. Here, you probably won't have that problem, So if I just kind of fling myself this way and then do that, there's probably a collectible up at the top of that. What are these, spikes? Do I have to rush? Is the wind going to affect me? There's a switch up there. Feels like they are intentionally trying to get me to kill myself on some kind of new deadly spike mechanism. I cannot see myself at all, and it's not letting me move the camera. Alright, so it wasn't a deadly spike mechanism. It was just bamboo sticks. It's fine. Where am I? See, oddly, that was a bonk. It blew me off into an area where I would have had to have gone through anyways with the checkpoint. It's still not a good bonk, but it's better instead of just pushing me to my death. So they learned their lesson very late in this one puzzle development and then used it nowhere else. Like, it really feels like then, no, that wasn't a bonk actually, come to see. Think of it, because had I just fallen to my death, I would have been here. And so they literally screwed me over and made me play more of the level than I needed to. Oh man, so they didn't learn their lesson. Well, I guess there's something to be said for being consistent. Alright, so I assume what this is we've got to like, yeah, so here's what you want to do is you want to die. You don't want to go back. Like, because that's just less effort. Maybe it's not faster by the time you've seen the reload animation and everything, but it's less effort. So maybe you have to just keep your head down. It doesn't feel like the wind stops. So, unless I'm just not getting something here. It doesn't feel like the wind slows down or stops at any point. It just seems like it goes. And coiling yourself up like this to kind of throw yourself this way in this weird pattern, I guess is what they wanted you to do, but you've never had to do that before. So yeah, that sucked. And what we'll probably end up doing, since it's already been 30 minutes, is spending either 15 to 30 minutes on the last level in the next recording, or we'll get some kind of credits and that'll give me more time to talk about this game and make it a full 30-minute episode. I don't know if there's really too much to say. It's been the consistent same problems over and over again. I'm not expecting too much different. I think the last level very well may just be a boss fight level. See, and we see this bird, but I'm not sure if that's the only antagonist in the game and we've just been seeing different animations of the same bird, or if this is just or if there's two different characters and we're gonna fight a sub-boss and a boss in the last level here, Blowy's Realm. Meanwhile, there's really not a lot to say about the other levels, other than you can just tell that there's been no real effort to collect anything since the third level. And we didn't collect everything in any of the levels except for the first and third, and it probably was probably just a fluke that I even got it in the third level. This game started off as kind of a cool laid-back concept where you're just gonna move a snake and control a snake. It very quickly within the first 5 levels became a difficulty spike until I found the easy controls, and then it's still been just a matter of luck that we've made it to level 15, because I was totally willing from probably about level 4 to rage quit this game at any point. And if I was really trying to get all the collectibles, I almost certainly would have rage quit this game. So where most games have collectibles that encourage you to continue to play, they've managed to do the exact opposite and actually potentially discouraged people to play by having the collectibles too difficult, the checkpoint system not really work well, and the game not really having any story or plot line or abilities that you gain or kind of anything at all. It really does feel like they slapdashed 15 levels onto what was effectively a tech demo here. That's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description. And if you want a friend or follow, if you want to support me further, there's also a link to Patreon, or you can friend me on Steam and get me a game off my wishlist. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.